In the film, there is an extraordinary form of editing. You know, there is a moment when you see like the machines downloading the stones, and then there is an abrupt cut, and you see like the water with the formation of the salt. And you have, again, a very violent, brutal cut between the images of the dinosaurs and the images of the map with the geological formation of the planet, and again, images of the landscape. What is really fascinating, in my opinion, is that Robert Smithson casts a new light on the landscape that emerges from the cracks between different temporalities. You have the geological time of formation of the stone, you have the astrological time, which is actually the universe that is moving, and you have the human time, which is the direct action of creating this beautiful spiral with all these symbolic values. Landscape, or the becoming landscape, emerges really from the dischronies, from the time which is in a way out of joint, to quote Shakespeare, because there are all different temporalities that do not collide, and they produce this specific landscape. I think that if we make this statement abstract, we can really start exploring a very fascinating new theme that really stems out of becoming landscape, which is about temporalities in the meanwhile. Temporalities that happen simultaneously and that produce new things. And this is an abstract statement that opens up very interesting possible readings, because we have the difference between universal histories and personal histories. We have the difference between the time of the archive and the time of our daily life, which is recognized by public rituals and public happenings. We have even an interesting post-colonial version, you have the historiography of the West and the parallel histories of different parts of the planet. And I think that this could be like a very interesting topic that we will discover in the next edition of SMAF.
So I should offer our thanks to the St. Moritz Art Film Festival, Stefano Rabolli Panzera, Diana Segantini, Martin Hatber, for inviting us, and of course to the public for being here after 4 intensive days of so exciting screenings. So you are real warriors, and so thanks so much for being here. We have not be boring, of course, and to go straight to the point. Yeah. So only a few words to explain why we have been invited here, and maybe due to our big dreams, because Stefano Piantini, that has been in the art publishing for 40 years between Schirà and Electal, the most famous house publishing.
It's Switzerland.
Yeah, of course. He's also a very special collector of experimental cinema. And 2 years ago, has created a small film house production. Small. Focused on culture.
Art, and docufilms.
And docufilms. And me, after a long career as art lawyer, 2 years ago as well, I founded Art Club. That is the goal to creating opportunities for inspiring artists, but also for private collection, to reach out a larger audience, and creating greater dialogue between this kind of artists and private collection with global organization like the SMAF. And so we did it.
Yes.
And of course, I can imagine that the public want to know more about the two movies that belongs to the old historical movies that belongs to the Stefano Piantini collection. The Manatta by
Paul Strand and Charles Schiller.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And a film that has 100
more than
100 years. And the other film, The Spiral Jetty. And of course, we expect some juicy anecdotes about this film, explanation, because mostly the Spiral is quite quirky.
It's cryptic,
and Stefano is a kind of contemporary 16th century scholar. So I do think that he has a lot of spicy tales about this movie.
Yes.
So I give the floor to Stefano.
Don't worry, I will not read. I take these notes because I'm old and maybe I don't remember the important things to say. The first film was Manhattan, made by two artists.
Microphone, please.
Microphone. You
Yes,
sorry.
but,
Okay. Maybe it's too.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So Manhattan was done between 1920 and 1921 by Charles Schiller, a painter and a photographer, and Paul Strand, that is one of the great masters of photography, of war photography. Just two short notice on the authors. Charles Schiller was the founder of art movement named Precisionism, founded after First World War in USA, and is a mix, I would say, a beautiful cocktail between Cubism, Futurism, and Realism. Charles Schiller defined Impressionism as Cubist realism, and he was also a photographer. Paul Strand is a photographer and is the founder of the so-called school of straight photography. The other personality of straight photography are Edward Weston, Ansel Adams, Alfred Stieglitz, a genius of photography. And the concept of the straight photography is perfect technique in shooting, perfect technique in darkroom, no tricks, no modification of the image. So Charles Schiller told Paul Strand to help him in making of this short film, because the duration is 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. The film was shot in 35mm black and white, of course. The original was silent because there is no sound on cinema in 1920, and is a day in the life in Manhattan, made in 675 shot sequence in a non-narrative structure. And the concept is a dialogue between photography and cinema. As you have seen, the movement of a camera are minimal. So, if you have read the title, they define themselves not as directors, but as photographer. And the subtitle of the movie is, I don't remember, is a study of the modern Babylon on Hudson. This is the subtitle of the work. The inspiration is the Walt Whitman poem named Mannahatta that is the old name of the Manhattan Island, when the Algonquin tribe was the master of the island before they sold the island to the Dutch, if I remember well.
So,
And of course, Walt Whitman is a quintessential poet of USA. So the lines you have seen with the images are excerpts from the poem of Walt Whitman that is part of his masterpieces, Leaves of Grass.
so if I may, I have to
You must,
underline that is very becoming landscape.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we all know that the SMAF is the only art film festival with a curatorial approach.
Yeah.
So the selection was made in this direction to underline this very special approach
Yes.
of the festival.
It's not a landscape.
A landscape, but really becoming landscape.
Because the concept of this vision of New York, of Manhattan, is abstract.
And very fascinating, if
Absolutely.
I can add. Yeah.
And the film is the first avant-garde American film existing.
Yeah, so a really masterpiece, a needed gem of your collection. Yeah. And the other one, the Spiral, that is more obscure, more cryptic,
Yes.
and but of course very becoming landscape as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So some number initial. Spiral Jetty is located at Roselle Point Peninsula in the Great Salt Lake, Utah, nearby Salt Lake City. Just to underline this
Detail.
This detail. To create the coil, they use 6,000 tons of black basalt rocks, salt crystal, and mud. Smithson formed a coil of 460 meters, large 4 meters, that winds counterclockwise off the shore into the water of the lake. But the concept is, following the Robert Smithson thought project, is create from what he defined a dead sea, because the Great Salt Lake was devastated by man, by robbing before gold, then oil, then salt, and create what he defined a pilgrimage, mystic pilgrimage in the lake. And the focus is that the spiral is not a shape that remain equal during the years, during the time, but the spiral change with the lake. So sometimes it is over the water, sometimes change color for the salt crystal and the algae, sometimes it's under the water. Now it's under the water, you see only from an helicopter, I would say, or from the hills nearby the lake. Why spiral? As you know, a spiral is one of the oldest symbols of humanity. That means creation, energy, expansion. This is one thing. The other is the legend that the Salt Lake is coming from a direct vortex from the ocean. And so the water is salty and not dolce, che non mi ricordo come si dice.
Sweet.
The other meanings are, as you have seen, a geological a geological thought on the old shape of the lake. You see, you have seen dinosaurs, and you've seen the machine that are creating the spiral that are similar to dinosaurs. So the Smithson's thought was that who is coming, who is looking at the spiral, is in the same time in a geological era where the dinosaurs lives, and in the space era, because we cannot forget that the project of Smithson was done in 1969, and in 1969 we have the man on the moon. And the spiral is the shape of galaxy and nebula. These are the complete, I would say, panorama of the spiral.
Yeah, so very becoming landscape.
Molto becoming landscape.
And of course, we have seen in the last shot a visionary man. Robert Smithson was a visionary man who has died for his vision. You told me before.
Yeah, 3 years after the creation of the spiral jetty, that is one of the land art works most monumental and most famous in the world. 3 years later, he was over Amarillo in Texas
for one of his projects to study,
to find a place for construction, for a new work, and the plane was down. And Smithson is dead, unfortunately. Smithson was a critic before being one of the most famous land artists. Was a critic and was a minimal artist, and he arrived to land art in the late 60s.
Yeah, of course. So, well,
so have you seen the film? Is not, the image is blur because the film was shot in 16 millimeters. And the film is old because he has more than 50 years.
Yeah, okay.
So also my heartfelt thank you to all the visitors, to all the wonderful team that we gathered for this second edition. You all know it's been one of my first edition as a managing director, so I'm very happy and glad that we had such a great collaboration with all our partners here present across the street. So and we had an amazing turnover for this fantastic programming that Stefano has prepared during all these years. So the actual aim was to bring home this festival here in the new cinema. So thank you to Scala Cinema. And the real work of structuring, of solidifying, this wonderful Moritz Art Film Festival will start tomorrow, or maybe at 6 o'clock already, to really plan ahead not only the edition of 2024, and I hope you're all going to be with us, but especially, as you said, we want that SMAF will be in the minds and in the hearts of people also during the year. So hopefully we will be able to create smaller events during the year, and we will keep you posted. So sign up also with your emails and you will get the information. Sign up to be friends and members of the SMAF, and happy to meet you here in Moritz and maybe also in other places to really give a depth to the Moritz Art Film Festival.